My name is Erica Mitchell. This is module number 10, and it's about bullying prevention in schools. So, to summarize some of the articles that were provided, the first article was the 3 essential priorities for school principals, and it was basically about what, as a school leader, could you do to prevent and reduce bullying on the leadership end, on the administrative end. And the 3 essentials were to create an inclusive environment, a safe school environment where all kids felt accepted and cared for. And the next essential was to put leadership on your staff in order to advocate for those students that are getting bullied, to advocate for acceptance and diversity, to educate students on bullying and being empathetic, that type of thing, and seeing those teachers as the leaders of the school. The third essential was to collaborate with the community and use those resources within the community to help build and establish that caring culture. The next article was about how feeling respected transforms a school's relationship, or a student's relationship to school. And this one just talked a lot about how the approach that we as in a lot of schools across the country, the approach that we take to bullying, to discipline, the disciplinary measures, are not helping in the long run, really long or short term. They're not getting the results of stopping the behavior, changing that behavior. Poor behavior and suspension rates. In the article, it talked about you can lower those by actually just building respect between teacher and students. The students want to be recognized as humans and not being looked down upon by authority figures. They want to be cared for and listened to. They want to feel safe in their environment. It's also important to reduce poor behavior by teaching empathy to students and removing the stereotypes and the biases that may be in schools with bullying and with disciplinary measures. It's also key to that teachers build relationships with students. As a future principal, that's something that would be stressed at my school, is that it just takes one relationship with a teacher to completely change a student's life, and how that's so important for all around school and student success, mentally and physically, and in the education system, academically. It's important to build relationships. Another article was about creating a warm and friendly environment. You can kind of see the trend here is a lot about creating a culture and an environment that is welcoming and caring for students. This article talked about how classrooms should foster cooperation and acceptance, which throughout this course we've discussed a lot about how we need to educate students on accepting differences and educate them on the benefits of diversity. It talks about the culture in the schools or in a classroom, they should have traditions, and students should be involved with their routines, and it should be consistent, and it should empower students and make them feel comfortable in order to be successful, in order to feel safe and caring. In the final article was just a lot of strategies for building a productive, positive learning environment, and the benefits and how it promotes academic, emotional, and social success. And we as teachers should make an environment that's relatable to students' lives, thinking about the culture in our community, thinking about their culture at home. What can we do at school to make that relatable to them? It just helps with that comfort and caring environment. We could establish a code of conduct, have positive actions, a positive action curriculum like positive behavior incentives, and educating students on positive behavior and being kind and being caring. It would just then build that empathy and build that caring and intrinsic motivation. And they would carry that outside of school as well, and that would help with preventing bullying. One article that I found was was about research and the evidence that bullying prevention a lot of times does not work within schools, and why doesn't it work, and what can we do differently. The approach to bullying is often counterproductive. The disciplinary measures we are then these bullies were these students who are bullying other students. The disciplinary measures are not changing their behavior, is pulling them out of the school system, oftentimes being suspended where they're at home unsupervised, to then create opportunities for bad behavior and bad choices as well, just like they were doing in the schools. Punishing kids isn't helpful. We need to educate kids. We need to teach them empathy. We need to teach them how to be kind, how to be caring. It's just not something that comes naturally, unfortunately, within many homes and many cultures and environments. It's something that needs to be there needs to be a curriculum within our schools. Preventing bullying should be done by improving the school culture, teaching everyone to just be a better person, and having a common definition between staff and students to define bullying and what it means to bully, and how, if you are being bullied, is it really bullying, and how should you address it? How should we approach it as students and as staff? One of the other articles was that there was an unveiling a new bullying prevention plan and the success behind it, and how the students should be fully involved in the anti-bullying prevention plan. What do they feel uncomfortable with? When do they feel targeted? What resources do they need? What outlets do they need? Students need to be able to express their concerns comfortably, and by providing additional resources often found through mental health in the community, for staff and students to then pass on to parents, pass on to students, staff, giving staff the resources they need to educate these students on anti-bullying and bullying prevention. Students need to feel safe as well, and so that also relates back to that caring culture and environment. Another article was just about a bullying prevention strategy that actually worked, and there's a lot of pushback against those zero tolerance policies. They don't work, and they don't change that behavior. The punishment is often unfair and biased toward different cultures and different races. The effects that are, or the approaches that are effective, are the ones that aren't punishing students. It's addressing it, talking, letting them feel heard, educating them on that behavior. One of the important things in this article talked about building the skill building, those social and emotional skill building for students, and how we as leaders and teachers, that's our job to teach them and educate them on those, on social and emotional health. The final article was an anti-bullying program that was identified by UCLA. And this program supported and educated students on the mental health of themselves and others. It helped improve self-esteem within students. It also improved self-esteem and reduced depression. It just taught students how to be kind, the importance of being kind, why you should be kind, what you can gain from being kind to other people. The program that it was implemented was school-wide, and that means everyone used the common language. They were on the same page. Teachers had the same common resources to use, so that it was a unified environment. And it was successful. This anti-bullying was successful. Looking at the data that was provided on bullying, most of the bullying is verbal. That is surveyed from some middle school students, verbally name-calling, teasing, and spreading rumors. And it really is occurring all over the place within a school, in the classrooms, which is shocking because there's supervision in the classrooms. Hallways and lockers in the cafeteria, that might be able to get away with that a little bit more, but it's most commonly occurring in the classroom. So when I look at this, I think that there's some things missing, like a PBIS, school-wide behavior expectations, or school-wide behavior policies in place. Educating kids on empathy is that's coming up more and more. Giving students a caring school environment and self-regulating, having peace corners and yoga and calm down methods and techniques that they can use. Embracing the school culture and embracing differences within a classroom. And I also think we need to educate students on the effects of verbal bullying, since that's now the most common form of bullying. I think students don't see the long-term effects that verbally bullying somebody can have on another person. And I think they think, well, it's not physical. It's not like I'm physically hurting them. But really, they need to be educated on the long-term emotional effects that can have on kids. The effects of a positive culture really makes or breaks a student or a school environment and how students feel and how there's school-wide success. And it's important that we create and sustain a school environment that teaches acceptance and makes students feel respected. Like the standards that we're addressing, being inclusive and welcoming all students. We need to give resources to students and staff on providing social and academic well-being as well as emotional well-being, promoting relationships within schools between students and staff, and teaching students about their social and emotional health and why it's important to take care of yourself and how you can do that, and giving them outlets, giving them resources when they aren't feeling healthy socially and emotionally. And we need to get students engaged by giving them a voice in creating an anti-bullying program. What do they need? What do students want? What's making them feel uncomfortable? What's making them feel like they are being bullied by their peers? And what policies and what resources do they need to feel safe, to feel comfortable? And as educators, that's our job, to make them feel safe, make them feel good, provide them with that environment, and from there, then the academic success comes in. And here are my citations. Oops, all the way. There we go. So thanks for watching.